As countries reopen for business, tourism is slowly picking up too. But COVID-19's taken a heavy toll on the industry. So how can it recover? What changes are needed to make tourism sustainable? And do tourists even have the appetite to travel now? This is Inside Story. Hello, I'm Kamal Santamaria. So it is the middle of June. In the Northern Hemisphere, schools are almost out and the traditional holiday season is upon us. But what is traditional about emerging from a months-long global pandemic lockdown? Yes, travel restrictions are gradually being lifted in many countries and tourist attractions are back on the itinerary, but there are so many catches along the way now. There's been an awful lot of damage done to the industry in 2020. The World Economic Forum has said tourism is expected to fall 80% this year. When you break that down, we see arrivals in tourism resorts down by just under 60% in March. That was when the lockdowns were mostly imposed, and a loss of about 67 million people is what that equates to. Disruption in the first 3 months of 2020 is estimated to have cost around $80 billion in lost income. The Asia-Pacific's been hardest hit, followed by Europe, while the Middle East is the least impacted so far. And on the employment front, up to 120 million tourism jobs worldwide are at risk because of the decrease in demand for travel. And that decrease, well, it looks like this, a 58% reduction in visitors for the year if restrictions are eased in early July, or it could be a 78% drop if that only happens in December. The loss in international tourists could reach more than 1 billion people. So for a global story, we've got guests from all over, starting in Agadir, Morocco, with Rashid Dahmaz. He is the president of the Agadir Regional Council of Tourism. In Madrid, Alessandra Prianti, director of the Europe Regional Department at the United Nations World Tourism Organization. And in Bangkok is Mario Hardy, CEO of the Pacific Asia Travel Association. Thank you all for joining us. I've got a sort of an opening thought here, which I want to put to all of you and get a brief response from each of you. The idea that post-COVID-19, whenever and whatever that is, this could go one of two ways. Either we've learnt some lessons and we think more about how much we travel, where we travel, how we do it, and we think about the implications of that, or everything goes back to normal because people have been cooped up for months and they just want to get on holiday and they want to get out and travel again. Rashid, I'll start with you. Which one of those scenarios do you think is more likely to happen?
Let me just say a brief word about the management of the pandemic in Morocco, if you permit me. This is in Morocco. The Moroccan state has managed successfully the pandemic, and the population have shown a fantastic surge of solidarity, and the pandemic was well controlled, successfully controlled. If you check all the books today, or all the statistics about all the countries, we have registered one of the lowest number of dead of all over the world. And this has made the population in confidence and has approached them to a realistic situation. Regarding the COVID, after the COVID-19, let's say that today, as long as the borders are closed, and the sky is still closed also, that we are not expecting too much from the international tourism, at least for the next 3 months or 4 months. I mean, Europe, as we are in Africa, North Africa, and the tourism are representing a lot for us, for our economy, for our finance, means almost 7.5%. And today, we are expecting and working very hardly to promote the domestic market, the domestic tourism, to encourage people to spend their holiday inside of Morocco.
No, domestic, that is important, and I'm going to come back to that later on. I want to talk more about that.
Yes.
Let's bring Alessandra. Rashid, in Agadir, let me come to you, because you first raised this issue of, well, this idea of more domestic tourism. How are Moroccans responding to that? I mean, so much of Morocco is international tourism, I think. Do people there want to go and get out and visit their own country?
Yes. Most of the Moroccans, they are very excited, after 3.5 months or 4 months of being locked down, and they are very excited. The first part of the uncontainment has been over since 2 days or 3 days, and starting from the 20th of June, the lockdown will be just over. I hope it's going to be only a souvenir, not a good one. But the Moroccans, according to the last studies we did with the Tourist Board Office, with the Ministry of Tourism, 76% of all the people, of all the Moroccans, they want to spend their holiday in Morocco, and they want to stay in Morocco, and they are very excited. Of course, there are some questions everybody is asking. First thing is how safe we are in the hotels and how it's going to look like in the hotels. Are we going to go spend holiday in a hospital or in a hotel? You know what I mean? I mean, all the restriction, the physical or the social distanciation, all the protocol, the healthy protocol, which has to be set up by the hotels in terms of detergent, disinfection, masks and everything, how to deal with the customers in the restaurant, in the kitchen, in the swimming pool, in the beaches. We are in a summer holiday and the people are really excited. They want to go out, they want to enjoy. Tourism is equal to a pleasant, it's an ambiance. Tourism is an ambiance, is a well-being, and the people, they want to be there. And it's very difficult in the same time to send people to spend holiday, swim and enjoy themselves, and in the same time to be restrictive. Then we have to be very, very clever to manage it in a funny way. We have planned to have individual entertainment, instead of having those big groups or those big show. We have prepared the individual entertainment just to make it funny and not to go back to outside in a sad situation. We want to make it as a enjoyment, as a funny time, and how to combine both of them. We've been discussing all the time, and I think the best way is to go progressively, because nobody knows how tomorrow will be, and nobody knows this pandemic when it's gonna finish. I hope very, very quickly, but we have to go progressively and not to make any mistake, because at the end, the health of the population is more important than economy or the finance. If we believe in that.
So let's go back to these issues then as we look forward: sustainability and reactivation. Rashid, in Agadir, you mentioned some ideas before that you've had about how to make the experience, more fun while still having to adhere to the social distancing rules. I mean, is there a lesson to learn that you can carry that forward and incorporate it in the future so that we don't have these situations arising again?
This is the pandemic is something which is exceptional. It's recognized that we have never seen such a big crisis like that. Nobody was expecting that, and we have to recognize the whole world was completely confused and confusing, and every government was doing something which they believe on the danger of the pandemic, and others didn't believe, and that, all of us. Now we are trying to adapt ourselves to a situation. Shall we go for after COVID-19 and to set up a new procedure, a new protocol? How long this protocol and procedure gonna take? It's gonna take 6 months, 7 months until we get the vaccine, the new one, or it's gonna be all the year? What about the next winter? Shall we do that? But one thing is sure, that everybody has learned a very, very good lessons from this pandemic. And we have to recognize that we are all in the same boat and we are all the same earth. Hopefully that the nature has not been hurt. The sun is still there.
That's the difficult thing, though, isn't it? You've said, we're all in the same boat and we've all learnt lessons, but it requires everyone to actually adhere to them. We're already seeing on a smaller level the people who wear masks and the people who don't wear masks. It comes down to the individual, and that's something you can't control.
Exactly. Today the tourism has been very strongly hurted and deeply hurted. and the economy of tourism is almost bankrupted. But this is something we have to prepare. Now there is a new vision, a new strategy, a new way. Now if we require to fill the hotel 50% and the plane 50%, we have to look at the financial side of this story. Because if you say to a company you have to fill only half of the plane, means that the price will be doubled. Is the population in situation to pay more for the moment? And especially in those times where jobs have been lost and a lot of people find themselves one day later without any income. And what about the hotels? The hotel is also a lot of investment. What kind of price policy and what are the accompaniment measures, instructed by the government? In Morocco, let me say that there was a fund created by the King Mohammed VI, about $3.5 billion. This is, we call it COVID-19 fund, to help the companies to support the salaries of the people. We are talking about almost 1 million people working directly in tourism, without talking about indirect jobs. We are expecting more. They have done a lot of facilities in terms of taxes, in terms of
Rashid, I'll just interrupt you there. Sorry, just because we are running out of time. And to Rashid, Dahmaz, Alessandra Prianti and Mario Hadi, thank you for joining us today. We do appreciate it. And thank you for watching as well. We are online in all the usual places, aljazeera.com, of course, in the shows section, facebook.com/AJ Inside Story for more discussion, and on Twitter @AJ Inside Story, @Kamal AJE if you want to get in touch with me directly. I'm Kamal Santamaria from the whole team. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.